My name's Dan, this is Cora, and we're here today to do our top 70 games of all time. Now, normally people do their top 100 games of all time, but we're rebels, aren't we, Cora? We don't hold with that kind of stuff. No, we think 70 is a far more interesting number. And also 70 is the number that you were felt, because I should say, this isn't our top 100 games of all time. 70. top 70 games of all time. This is Cora's.
This is mine.
Yeah. So I didn't have any influence in this at all, did I?
No. We went on this website, didn't we?
Yeah.
And he was like, compare these two board games. And I picked one, and then that one would probably go higher than the other one.
Yeah.
So then it took a long time, but eventually you got the list.
Yeah, you eventually got this. But before that, in order to get the 70 games, we went through our entire board game collection. We got a huge kids board game collection because we run a kids board game club, don't we?
Yeah.
Or we used to do. Hopefully that's going to get started up again soon. And so we got boxes and boxes of kids board games. And then
we got shelves.
And shelves of kids board games as well. So we ended up narrowing down kind of the ones that you thought were really good, didn't you? And that ended up to be something like, I think, 75 or 78 or something like that.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is, we've played hundreds of kids' games, but not all particularly recently. And after about 3 or 4 years ago, you can't remember it, can you?
No, it's a long time to remember the rules of a board game.
It is, especially when you're only 9. But I can remember them, so I'm going to go a bit later on after we've done this, and I'll go through some more kids' games.
Yeah, ones that I didn't include because I just couldn't remember them.
Yeah, mainly ones for younger kids. So I'm going to do a follow-up kind of top 10 younger kids' games after this. But for now, we're doing your top 70. We've babbled. Well, I haven't babbled. No, you've babbled. No, I've babbled, not you, but someone around here is babbling, and it's not Cora. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
That means it's you.
Oh, yeah. So,
it's you.
It's them. Yeah. So let's go on with number 70. So, Cora, what's number 70?
Number 70 is The Magic Labyrinth. The
Magic Labyrinth. Now, what's this game about? What do you do in it?
Well, you have these little meeples, and when you get given a card, and you have to go to the spot with the icon that's on that card.
Yeah.
But it's not that easy. You don't just go boop, boop, boop. When you roll the dice, and that determines how many places you move, there's these invisible walls that try to stop you.
Yeah, because this is a magnetic game, and I love it.
And when you've got the little balls under the characters, sometimes they get knocked off, and then you're like, you can hear it, so you know that there's an invisible wall there.
There's an invisible maze underneath the playing board, and your player piece has a little magnet underneath, and as you move the player piece round, sometimes these invisible walls will knock the ball off, and then you have to go back to the start again.
Yeah.
So it's all about learning a maze, but it's a maze you can't see. So it's like a memory game, isn't it, really? Yeah. But
it's a memory game.
It is a game, yeah. I've just realised it's a memory game. Usually I don't like memory games, but I really like this one. So Magic Labyrinth is a fantastic game, a real classic, and part of you might see a few more magnetic games as well, because there's a lot of magnetic games.
We like magnetic games.
And we do like magnetic games. So Magic Labyrinth is your number 70.
Number 70.
So, what's your number 69?
Number 69 is My First Stone Age.
My First Stone Age. And this is an introduction to worker placement. And as we were just chatting about this, you said it's like the River game. So, The River from Days of Wonder, which is another worker placement game. So
yeah, it's sort of similar because you have to collect different materials and then use them to make buildings, don't you?
Yeah. So it's a resource gathering game.
Yeah.
And you kind of working your way around this.
You get some clay, you get some hay, probably.
Hay? No,
I don't know.
It's pottery, bones, grapes, and something else. I don't know, cheese or something. So you get these resources in order to fulfill. It's a contract fulfillment game, really. Yeah. Very basic. Quite like Stone Age, the grown-ups game, but this is for younger kids, and this plays quite young. This will do. You could easily play this when you're 5, even 4, I'd say. So what do you like about it?
Well, I just like the way that you just going around and building your houses, really.
Yeah, collecting stuff and building a house, and it's a first person.
And you have to sort of think about what you're going to collect. Do you want to build this house more? Or do you want to build this house more?
Yeah.
You have to think about if you collect, but it's quite simple though, isn't it?
It's a simple game, but it's a fun game. Yeah. So my first Stone Age is our number 69. I'm going to get mixed up on these numbers soon, I can tell.
They're just counting up.
So, number 68. What is it?
Duck, Duck, Bruce.
Duck, Duck, Bruce. A game of ducks and dogs. Is that right? And Bruce is the dog.
Bruce is the dog.
So, how do you play Duck, Duck, Bruce?
Well, it's sort of like Duck, Duck, Goose, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so. That's the kind. You do say Duck, 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 Bruce. If it comes. So what kind of game is it?
Well, it's a push your luck game where if you're building out more ducks to get more points, then maybe Bruce will come and scare all the ducks off.
Yeah.
And then you won't get any of the points.
Yeah. It's a simple game.
I always used to push my luck to the furthest and just wait until I think I'd get like loads of points, but then Bruce would come and everybody else used to be really cautious. And I was just like
yeah, well, sometimes you can win that way, but sometimes most of the time
most of the time
most of the time you don't. So yeah, this is a game right game. It comes in a relatively small box.
Yeah.
It's a classic. I think it's still in print. I'm not sure. A lot of the game right kind of small box card games are part of a series that includes Sleeping Queens and things like that, which probably may turn up later on our list. All kind of small boxes. And we really like this kind of line of games.
Yeah.
And so Duck Duck Bruce is our number 68. Well, Cora's number 68.
Mine.
Okay, so what's your number 67?
My number 67 is Valley of the Vikings.
Valley of the Viking. I'm growing my beard so I can look a bit more like a Viking. What do you think? I'm gonna.
The rules of the game is the person.
No, we're talking about my beard. Everyone wants to hear about my beard. I'm gonna plait it down here.
I think it's a bit too short to plait.
I'm gonna grow it. I'm gonna grow it till it's down to my knees. Go on then.
In Valley of the Vikings.
Talk about Valley of the Vikings.
In Valley of the Vikings. It says that the person who looks most like a Viking gets to go first.
It does! I forgot about that. Let's go play it now.
I look more like a Viking than you do.
How do you look like a Viking?
I don't know.
Okay, Valley of the Vikings is a strange game. It's a very good game.
Yeah.
But it's a strange game in that it mixes kind of dexterity elements. It's like a bowling ball, don't you?
Yeah.
You're bowling down to knock down barrels. With a kind of...
Down the valley. Vikings.
So you're bowling balls down a valley. I didn't realise it was a valley, but of course it's a valley.
Of course it's a valley.
I know it's called Valley of the Vikings. Whatever. So you're rolling, and after that, and that allows you to move pieces on this kind of track, which is quite a Euro mechanic. So you I don't want to explain it in fully because I'm not competent enough to explain it in fully. But basically, you're moving pieces along the track, your pieces, whichever piece colour that you've knocked the barrels over of, and then you're trying to land on various spaces. Yeah.
But if you go off the end, then you go back to the start.
Then you go back to the start, which is no good at all. So there's mechanisms where you skip over people who are in your way. Yeah. So sometimes you're trying to knock over other people's coloured barrels in order to disadvantage them, or
sometimes you're trying to knock over yours because you were just at the end, now you're at the start, so you want to get further.
Yeah.
But then you don't want to get on the end. So
there's a lot of tactics to it and a dexterity game on top.
Yeah.
With some really nice pieces. This is a Spiel des Jahres winner, and probably Kinderspiel des Jahres winner. Yeah. And probably one of the most worthy ones. I think it's a really, really interesting and superb game. And I've had some great games of this with adults as well. So that's my opinion of it. What do you think of it, Cora?
Pretty much the same. Yeah. Because I just really like it as well. I like the bowling ball thing. It's really fun. And then sometimes you just miss all the barrels completely.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you get all of them and you didn't want to get all of them on. It's just frustrating but nice.
It's frustrating, but nice. But when you miss all the barrels, you're allowed to roll again, which is really good. What is frustrating is you have to keep on getting down on the floor to pick up all the ball every time it rolls off the table. But aside from that, it's
usually my job because he can't bend down.
Well, I can bend down. I just choose not to. That's all.
Bend down.
Vikings don't bend down. We're too busy. We're too busy riding our longboats and
I don't see you in a longboat.
drinking mead. You've just exposed my laziness to the entire Dice Tower community now. I'm not happy. So anyway, what number's that? I've forgotten.
67?
Could be 67, maybe. I don't know. Let's see what's next. Okay, Cora, what's your number 66?
Number 66 is Cranium Junior.
Cranium Junior. Yeah. And what kind of game is this? What do you do in it?
Well, it's sort of like just a fun multiple activities that you do.
Yeah.
And it's like sometimes you got these goggles that he's wearing there, if you can see. And it shows you some things that you can't just see with your eyes.
Yeah. It's like tinted goggles, so you only see the red bits show up, don't they? And like a code.
And sometimes you can do that for like an answer to a question, so you couldn't cheat by looking at the answer.
Yeah. And then there's other bits where you're just having to kind of, it's like Pictionary but with clay and things. And there's things like when it's like Pictionary.
I think there's like a noughts and crosses thing, which use these little pieces where they can interconnect with each other, and sometimes you can actually put it on top of somebody else's piece.
Yeah.
To cover it up.
Yeah, and that's so you do all these little tasks, and they allow you to have a piece that you can put on this big kind of noughts and crosses.
So basically, it's just a bunch of different activities that can let you win on the big activities.
Yeah.
Big main part.
And this is a game you really enjoy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is a game that we've played. Most of the games we play are with just us two.
Yeah.
But this is one that you've played with your sister and your brother as well. And I think we'll see this as a theme as this top 70 goes on. Cora really likes it when all the family get involved and stuff like that. It's just they're miserable and they they don't like games as much as us, so they only rarely come on some of the games. So yeah, this is a good mass market game. We enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with Cranium. There's nothing wrong with Cranium Junior. So Cranium Junior is number 66, maybe.
Yes, number 66.
Okay, number 66. So Cora, number 65.
Number 65 is Family Flutterby.
Family Flutter. Say that 20 times fast.
No.
Family Flutterby. Family Flutterby. Go on.
No.
Oh. Family Flutterby. What is Family Flutterby? How do you play? How much does it cost? Who is it published by?
I don't know how much it costs. I don't know who it's published by.
It's published by Hooch. It doesn't say who is it published. Anyway, well, that's beside the point. What is Family Flutterby?
Family Flutterby is about fluttering wings. No, it's about butterflies, and you have these little things where you can fold it over and sort of like a storybook, but it's split into quarters instead.
It's almost like one of those fortune teller things that you go do. Just like an origami board, isn't it? And you're flipping over things, and
the wings,
and you're trying to match.
You get a card, and there's a pattern on it with the wings. You have to make that pattern on the wings by folding it over. I'm usually not very good at that game, but I still like it.
Yeah, it's a race.
It's a speed game, so I'm not very good at. I'm not very good at speed games.
We're not. Me and Cora, or Cora and I. That's grammatically correct. Aren't that keen on speed games where.
No, but this one is very fun as well.
This is a lot of fun. So that oftentimes they are a lot of fun.
And if you wanted to, you could just make it not a speed game. And just
do it. And that's what we tend to do, to be honest.
I'm not very good at speed
with most speed games, we tend to turn them into activities because the older you are, really, the more advantages you've got in a speed game because you can usually do things quicker. And that's not much fun for a kid's game. A kid's game shouldn't have an inherent advantage for the adult, in my view. A really, really good kids' game shouldn't. But saying that, we do have a lot of speed games on here because they're quite a prevalent genre in kids gaming. But yeah, I prefer games where you're not competing directly in a race to do something because they're usually are disadvantageous.
What? Why? What word is disadvantageous?
I was trying to be all clever and make big words, and then I'm disadvantaged. Whatever. You know what I'm saying. Let's move on.
Disadvantage.
Was that number 65? Number 65 that was, wasn't it? Number 65. Okay, number 64. What's number 64, Cora?
The Game of Life.
The Game of Life. And why do you enjoy the game of... Most people, I'm sure, will have been aware of the game of life. It's been a popular game for a long...
Yeah, it's a popular game.
Yeah. So why do you like... What is it about the game of life that you like?
Well, I like sort of chance things where you roll it and then sometimes you can choose and it's just...
You like it when you can choose to go to university or
college or whatever.
Yeah, or not go to university.
Or when you roll to see if you have this amount of kids or...
Yeah, that kind of stuff. So you like just the process of rolling and moving and going around the board and things like that. And the spinner's quite fun as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it.
We got one with I think they all come with a spinner.
Yes.
And I think the other... The other reason you like this, and you may not probably be aware of this, is that this is the game that your older sister, who's 17, will play with you out of choice, or certainly has done. This is actually her game. She asked for it for one Christmas, and she really likes Game of Life.
Yeah.
And so I rarely play Game of Life with Cora. Usually it's her older sister, and I think that's probably why you like it as well, because it's nice to play games with your sister, isn't it? Game of Life, I think it's rubbish.
He doesn't like it.
Okay, what's your number 63?
Number 63 is Top Trumps.
Top Trumps!
It's not really one specific game, there's multiple versions of the Top Trumps, but just Top Trumps in general.
This is a Simpsons version. We haven't even got a Simpsons version.
No, it just...
But you like the Simpsons at the moment, so we thought that we put that on. There's loads. Think of any kind of IP, intellectual property.
Even Minecraft.
Minecraft. There's a Harry Potter one.
We still have it, but a long time ago we bought a PJ Masks one.
PJ Masks one, dinosaur, everything, anything you want.
And dogs.
And dogs.
We got dogs one.
We have got dogs one. Anything you want, there'll be a Top Trumps of it. Now, I don't think Top Trumps is particularly popular in America, so I could be wrong. I apologise if I am, but
we don't know.
We don't know.
America.
We're not from America. That's true. So what is Top Trumps?
Well, you have these cards and they all have different stats on them, like cuteness or speed or whatever, really.
I would get 10 out of 10 for cuteness.
Yep.
If there was a stat.
Yeah. But the stats sort of depend on what category it is, because if you had Star Wars, there might not be cuteness.
No, although Ewoks and Baby Yoda would score quite highly.
But not like...
No, on Star Wars, there'd be things like... shooting and Jedi Force and all that kind of stuff.
Just power.
Yeah, and intelligence and speed.
But then in dogs, there's a cuteness factor.
Dogs is a cuteness factor. In The Simpsons, I don't know, they'll be in The Simpsons.
Yeah, we haven't got it.
Yeah, but anyway, each stat, and then basically
There'll be troublemaking.
You've got a deck of cards, and you take the first one up, and you say, "Go on."
So if it's a two-player game, it can be more than.
I think it can be more, but we always play two-player.
And if you choose a stat or your opponent chooses a stat, whichever one you take it in turns to choose a stat, don't you? And then if they have a stat that's higher than yours, then they get your card, and you want more cards because if you run out of cards, you lose.
Yeah.
But if yours is higher, you get their card.
Yeah.
And you really want to have the whole deck in your hand and none of the deck, and have 0 in the other hand.
Yeah.
So sometimes it takes a while, to be honest.
It does. This is a game that has been around for years. This is a game I used to play as a kid. I used to love it. I used to like just looking through all the cards and looking at all the stats. It's almost like a spotter's guide as well, isn't it? And things like that. It's a classic game, and I think it's a classic game for a reason. I quite like Top Trumps.
Yeah.
And so it's your number
63.
63, possibly.
Yes.
So, number 62.
Number 62 is
Is this one? Mucca Pazza, maybe? Mucca Pazza?
Mucca Piazza?
Mucca Piazza? I think it's an Italian game.
Yeah, we don't know how to say it. Somebody tell us how to say it.
So what is Mucca Piazza?
Well, in Mucca Piazza, whatever, you have this board and it has...
Mucky Pizza. Let's call it Mucky Pizza.
You have three different like columns on the board. One is the head of a bunch of animals, the body, and then like the legs, the lower body. And like from waist below the...
Yeah, that's what legs are, yeah.
Shut up. I'll hit you in my legs. He thinks he's so funny, doesn't he?
I am pretty funny.
You're not pretty funny. You think you're pretty funny. But you have these cards, and you have to match what's on the cards. And if you not... And what you do is you push it off the edge. you push it by one space. It's usually quite easy to get one space, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then the one that gets shoved off the end goes to start.
Yeah.
And then you go, bleh, and you have to get it to the place you want, really.
So it's a bit like those books you used to get, well, you still get, where you've got different heads.
Yeah.
Upper bodies and lower bodies of the legs. Yeah. And you're flipping over the things, but this time you're just pushing them along, aren't you?
Yeah.
So and you've only got 3 moves to do.
Can't you push it in any direction?
Yeah, you can push it in any direction,
Yeah.
but you can only push 3 things. So you've got to work out what the optimal way of doing it. It's a fairly easy game. This is a game that you used to play when you were very young.
Yeah.
And you've got fond memories of it, I think. But it's it's a solid game for a young child, and so that's now number 62. 62. Okay, and finally for this video, number 61. What is it, Cora?
Number 61 is Hedgehog Roll.
Hedgehog Roll. And this is the only game in our list with Velcro in it, I think.
Probably.
Probably. So what do you do in Hedgehog Roll?
Well, you roll the hedgehog. It's like this little... It's sort of like a tennis ball, isn't it?
It is a tennis ball, I think. With no, I'm not being funny. It is a tennis ball with...
It's a small round tennis ball, probably like that size, maybe.
Yeah. The kind that your dog will get off the floor and run away with if you're not careful, basically. Yeah.
And you put the little face on it, and it's a cute little face on
little face on it.
And then you roll it.
Yeah.
Roll the hedgehog.
Yeah.
And you have to pick up these little Velcro icon things.
Yeah. So you roll it over. It's like leaves and bits of nuts and berries and things like that.
Yeah,
I think.
and fruits. So
and
then you have to pick up all the fruits on your body.
Yeah. Because the pieces have all got Velcro on the back.
And you have to make sure to put them that way up. So.
Yeah. And then so you roll the ball over it
and whichever one you pick up.
Yeah.
You go on that path because it has the icons on the path. So it goes. If you pick up a pear, you go towards a pear. And then an apple. If you go pear, then apple, then you go onto the pear path and onto the apple path.
Yeah. So you've got to choose your kind of route round depending on what...
If you got a pear and an apple, for example, you could go on... If there was a pear, then an apple, or an apple, then a pear, you could choose which one to go on.
Yeah. So it allows you to... Your options of which path you're allowed to go, and then you have to go to the board, and then you have to choose what's the kind of optimum way of using... The pieces you've picked up in order to move to the winning post.
And there is a bit of strategy beside choosing what path you're going to go on, because you have to roll it in a certain way.
Yeah. In fact, I said that Valley of the Vikings previously was unusual in that it was it's mixing dexterity with a bit of Euro strategizing and things like that. This is very much similar, although this one's a lot more easy. So this is for younger kids, I'd say. It's quite like Monza, which is a very old game where you're choosing a race course, but instead of rolling a dice, this time you're rolling a tennis ball across which is a lot more fun, let's face it.
And you also have to pick up the ball again.
And you also have to pick up the ball. But this time, you have to chase after your dog who's picked up the ball. Because it's a tennis ball and he thinks you're playing with him. So, but
don't slobber over my hedgehog.
Hedgehog Roll is a fantastic game, and I'd like to say I spotted this at Essen like 3 years ago when it wasn't even available, when they just had a demo copy, and I went beeline to it. I thought that looks like a great game, and then later on it won the Kinderspiel des Jahres. So I spotted it first. I am the
Somebody
best.
probably saw it before you.
I did very similar with Sushi Go. I bought the first ever. Anyway,
The first ever copy. I don't.
Yeah, the first ever print run of Sushi Go when it was being printed in Australia, and no one knew what it was.
Copy though.
Not the first ever copy, no.
You said the first ever.
Well, it might have been. I don't know. Anyway, so that's number. We're getting distracted now. That's number 61, and that is all we've got, isn't it? That's the list. Well, for this video.
I was going to say there's a lot.
So some great games, but I would say there's about 60 better games to come. What would you say? I reckon.
Maybe. We've just done 10 of our top 7.
Yeah. At least in Cora's opinion, 60 better games. So thank you very much for watching. I apologise if we go off topic. That's just how we.
That's how he goes.
and we'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.